What's up guys, and welcome back to the lab. I thought I'd do a quick video today on a power supply that I managed to pick up quite cheap. It was shared within our Discord server by one of our members, and I managed to snatch it up for quite a good deal. The power supply we're going to be looking at is this Cooler Master 550 watt MWE Gold version 2. Now these are currently retailing for around £80, but I managed to pick this one up for just £35, and that's delivered. I actually bought two of them because I thought they would be useful in the lab. Now, I thought we could take a look around the boxes, do a bit of an unboxing, show you what you actually get in there and some of the features that they do. So stick around and we'll get into it. So let's have a look at the specs. Now, these Cooler Master power supplies are obviously from a decent brand. They're very well known for making decent power supplies. I've had these in the past, in particular the 750 watt versions as well as the 500 watt. And feature wise, they're actually quite good. This one in particular is a gold rating, so there's nothing to worry about there, and it's also a fully modular, so for the £35 I paid, it's actually pretty good. Even for the £80 that they are now, that's reasonable price for this type of power supply. If we take a look at the box, you'll see that it's typical Cooler Master branding. We've got the purple with the picture of the item on the front. Around the box we've got some further specifications on the side, as well as the back, talking about ratings, what type of cables it's got and connections, and how it actually all goes together. If we open up the box, very typical of a Cooler Master product. We've got lots of padding, which is really good to see. An instruction manual which actually gives you the pinouts for all the connections, which is quite good because if you're trying to do any kind of modification, it's really good to know them. As far as the power supply goes, it's a standard looking power supply by Cooler Master. Now the 750 watt that I actually personally use in my system is very similar. It looks pretty much exactly the same. As a unit, it has the standard Cooler Master branding as well as on the other side, so when it's in your case you'll actually see this through the back. You'll see the actual rating systems, that it's 550 watts, and all of the extra details you need, including the rails and things like that. On the back we've got all of the ports that you need because it is a fully modular case, so you don't have to plug everything in, so it makes it really easy and tidy for a build. It has a 120 watt mil fan in the bottom, which is pretty standard of all their power supplies, and they're pretty silent as well, so I am actually using one of these in our editing rig at the moment, and you can't even tell it's on. It's pretty damn quiet. On the rear, it's pretty straightforward. It's got the ventilation, which is obviously going to get the air out from that fan, and we've got a switch, an on and off switch, as well as a 3-pin plug. Now, as far as cables go, it did come, or both of them did come, with European power cables. Now, obviously that doesn't work in the UK where I am, but a lot of power supplies don't even come with them anyway, so you're not really losing out, and we tend to buy a lot of them separately. Now, the cables that come with it are in a black colour, so they actually hide really well inside a build. There's no ketchup and mustard in here at all, so they've quite really well thought this out. For the first cable, we'll look at the CPU cable. It's approximately 64 centimeters, and you actually get two of these. Now they're quite well marked on the back as to which slot they go into the power supply, which is quite good because there's no confusion there, and because you get two of them, it gives you the ability to have either an 8-pin or an 8-pin that splits into two 4s. So some motherboards that have 8 pins and another 4, there's plenty there to be able to support it. The second cable we'll look at is the PCI Express. Now this doesn't support any more than just two PCI Express, and that's a 6+2, so it's two 8-pins if you put them together, and that's approximately 60 centimeters in length. So again, it's more than enough to be able to get to a graphics card in your build. The third cable we're going to look at is your 24-pin. Now on the one end you have the 24-pin that goes into the motherboard, which is pretty standard. You don't have the breakaway 4-pin on this, which you do on some power supplies, and on the other it's actually split into two, so there's a 10-pin and then there's all the rest, and that connects into the power supply there and there. At a length, it's approximately 64 centimeters as well, so it's very similar to the CPU length, which is more than enough for most cases and most motherboards to reach. The rest of the cables, you pretty much get an assortment of Molexes, so that's a cable there with 4 Molexes, and it goes straight into the power supply in some of these fittings down below. At full length, it's approximately 70 centimeters, and for the others you get 2 extras, and these actually have 4 SATAs on each, so in total you have 8 SATAs and 4 Molex. Now, because it's a fully modular, and they're pretty much the same length as well, they're about 70-80 centimetres for the SATA. Now, because this is fully modular, you don't need all of these cables. Obviously, we will need the PCI Express if we've got a discrete graphics card that we need to power. We'll need the 24 pin, and we'll need at least one of the CPU cables. Aside from that, if you're using anything like extra hard drives or anything that needs additional power, maybe it's a controller for some kind of RGB, you do have the options here. I tend to use not a lot of these because I opt for M.2 drives, so obviously they go straight on the motherboards and I don't need anything for the storage. But if I do need it, you've got the extra cable there, and then you can suddenly save all of these extras for another day if you want to expand any further, and it kind of keeps your build really clean. Now, I'm quite impressed with the units, obviously for the money that I paid. It's not a lot really for what you are getting. That's pretty much the same price as a lot of the budget ranges that you can out there on the market, so I'm pretty impressed. Now, if you've got one of these, make sure you drop a comment below, tell me what you think. Have you had any issues with it? I personally use the 750 watt version of this in my own rig. I've never had an issue within nearly a year, but some people do report that they do get issues with them. But let me know if you've had issues with it. Let me know if there's any specific way that you fit it that may need thinking about, and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this going forward.